All right, welcome back. This is the Plum Wild Recap. I am Nathan Waddell. Beside me, as always, to the right, Damian Kiefer. What's going on, Keith?
Just another day, another dollar. It's Wednesday. Got a big weekend ahead of us. For now, it's been a long day,
Yeah,
but we're here.
it's podcast day. We've gotten where we do these
is.
on Wednesdays, and I like kind of have a schedule here, so that's always good. So yeah, this is episode 8. You got a big week ahead of you, you said, but looking back on Monday, we had Eldora on the schedule.
El Dorado.
I love Eldora. I love it. We practiced a lot. This was the most fun I've had practicing. This whole series. I mean, I think after last week, I kind of realized that I don't really have anything, no chance at, money, or I don't even think I have a chance at the relegation spot anymore, top 15. So I was just kind of able to have a little bit of fun with it. Practice was, like I said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, running, like qualifying sets and heat race sets where you can just lay it down and just rip. It's the most realistic that it's felt to me, especially at Eldora in a super. It was just a bunch of fun to just go out, make some laps against each other, throw hellacious sliders, and have fun.
I agree. Well, it's like the only track where you drive like you're supposed to drive.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's like so fun, because early there, I mean, you could just stand on it and throw haymakers, do whatever you wanted to do, and it was very intense.
Yeah, it was just, like I said, I mean, like you said, it's the one that feels like the most real, because we could just stand on it, and on the heat race sets whenever we were testing those, and just really stand on it and kind of run some realistic lines. And our practices probably looked more realistic than anything I've ever done on iRacing. But we put in a bunch of laps. They gave us the information for the track state and everything on Monday, as usual, at about 3. And similar to last week, we got a 0% track state, just worked it in, but then they reset it for qualifying, reset us to 3%, which made it bottom, I assume. I mean, that's what you and I ran. We didn't qualify very well, but I'm assuming
again.
It was bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't hit it well. I qualified 24th. What did you end up qualifying? You qualified just 4 spots ahead. Right. I think you were 21st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how it turned out.
And so yeah, I mean, we didn't qualify very well. Some shocking guys up towards the front in qualifying. Let's see, it was JD Brown that qualified pole. Not too shocking there. But Loic qualifying 2nd. And then Jesse Wall was on the pole for one of those, I want to say.
Yep, I think he was pole of heat 4 or 3.
I think it was 3. I was in 4, and I can't remember who was on the pole for mine. But regardless, qualifying was right around the bottom. Track ended up working its way up to the top pretty quickly in the features. I mean, in the heats. How did your heat go?
Started 6th, 1 and 2. We were there. We were racing for the transfer spot, actually, with Brent Caudell. I forget who was on my inside. James Edens was actually right behind me, and I felt like we were going to be in the show, and like we could have made the show pretty reasonably in that, but got in there right behind Brett. I tried to split a gap. He kind of, when I was racing there, he kind of slid and got a little sideways there and lost a little speed. And like we were saying just earlier, how full tilt it is. I was driving as hard as I could, and then he hesitated for a second. I tried to check up in time, and I ended up hitting him, and I let out of the gas and fell all the way back to the back. But no, I felt good, and just wrong place, wrong time, 2 weeks in a row. But it happens.
Yeah,
It's part of it.
that's racing. I feel like you're still in a pretty decent spot to try to pick up that 15th spot to keep the license. But regardless, my heat 4, kind of glad that I was in heat 4. I had 3 heats to really watch and see what, if there was anything changing, or if it was just staying like right up there against the wall. So we went into turn 1. I was still rolling 6th where I started. It was getting kind of dicey, but I was just trying to maintain a good spot. I remember telling Colin before the heat race started, I was like, I just want to finish either 4th or 5th. I'm starting 6th. If I can grab one, I'm starting on the outside. That's advantageous. I should be able to at least pick up one here. But if I finish 5th, that's fine. That's a front row spot for the LCQ. If I finish 4th, I'm in. So I wasn't trying to be too aggressive or anything. But I'm riding 6th, I guess, with someone on the inside. I believe it was Toter on the inside.
I think so.
And we go into 1 and 2, and I see Toter. It looks like he is gonna slide me, and I've got Drew Hopkins in front of me, and I'm on him, and I'm like, there's no way he's sliding me here. Like, there's no room. And we go in, and he comes up, and I don't know if I made contact or what. I just know that in a flash, Drew Hopkins had went around somehow, and Toter had went around too, and I had avoided all of it by just keeping it pinned and right up against the cushion.
Yeah.
And I found myself in the transfer spot. I don't know if Ethan was trying to slide me or not. There wasn't any room. I didn't, I was just kind of like, I'm not going to lift here, I'm not going to like.
There wasn't really any room in between you two for him to slide into. He was trying to get up because he was going to get trained.
Right. And I understand that, but like there was no room, and I didn't want to get caught in a position where I can't tell if he's sliding me or not, so I'm just going to lift. Like, if it seemed like he was checking up and trying to leave me a lane up there, so I was going to take the lane. And I don't know if I made contact or not, but
all right.
Regardless, I found myself in 4th, looked in my mirror, nobody behind me, and man, I had some really good runs there off the cushion. I felt like I was really rolling, and I really liked that heat race set and how you could race it, full tilt. But but yeah, and I ended up not trying to make any moves on Chase Hardy. I think it was in front of me, just riding 4th and got in, thankfully.
Yeah, you had a good run there. I think you could have got 3rd if you would have like pushed the issue, but there was no
need to do that.
Right. And so you were in LCQ1. It was my first time, for the record, during one of these Pro Series races this season to not have to go through an LCQ.
You did it at Knoxville too? No, you went LCQ.
I had to go through the LCQ there too.
Where were we last week?
I didn't make it in last week. It was Williams Grove. So it was my first time not running an LCQ this whole season.
Must be nice.
Massive stuff. But that puts you in heat or LCQ1. Just looked like there was just nothing really that you could do there. It was still full tilt, and
yeah, I tried, but I mean we were there. You know what I mean? And they were racing hard in front of us, and with only 2 going, and
me and Eden were racing there. I messed up one time. I was in 3rd for a half a second, and then Eden's got back by me, and I was 4th. And me and Eden's he ended up getting the 2nd place spot, but yeah, just not enough time. Kind of starting back again didn't really help.
Yeah, it's tough to make these features. It's why qualifying is so important. We say it every week, but I feel like I kind of got lucky a little bit this week, despite a poor qualifying effort. Still made it in. So this was the first week, I feel like, since even like last year that I made it in and you didn't. But anyways, I started 16th. Was just kind of rolling, man. 50 lap feature, we're trying not to burn up our tires early. I was just kind of cruising. I think I made it up 2 spots, like to 14th, fairly quickly. Again, just still rolling, trying to maintain, trying to conserve that right rear. I was kind of like, what if I'm burning it up? But then again, I was like, nah, I'm keeping pace with everybody else. Like, there's no way I'm burning my shit up more than they're burning their shit up. So I was like, I must be all right, and just kept rolling to the top, getting kind of lucky on restarts and getting by people, being smart. There was a couple times where I tried middle in 3 and 4, and Barrett Bishop was behind me, and he'd get a massive run, get on my outside, so we'd be too wide going down the front stretch. I'd just slide back up in front of him in 1 and 2, and learn, okay, it's not there yet, and then next time we go high in 3 and 4, so he doesn't get that run, and I keep the position. And fast forward later in the feature, I again picked up some spots from people wrecking and off restarts, and I'm still kind of conserving, and I'm about ready to start pushing. And I think with about 12 to go, 10 to go off of a restart, I was in 10th. Loic was in 12th, and who was it that was behind me? Augustine. I'd gotten around Augustine. Augustine was blinking the whole time, which was kind of frustrating and tough to be around. But Loic tried to slide Augustine and just completely killed my left rear. He slid Augustine, and as he was coming up, he clipped me because I was there. So that gave me left rear wheel damage, and that kind of killed my run, really, my speed. I was just kind of maintaining after that. Thankfully, it was only like 10 to go. But on the last lap, I was still in 10th. We had a 1-lap shootout, and go into 3 and 4. I see Yeager has gotten up into the wall, and Yeager straight Ross Chastains it around on the wall, and I sneak by him at the line because he had a broken right front, right? And so I sneak by him at the line for 9th, and I was like, 9th, I'll take it. I think that was my first top 10 in Pro Series, which was cool. But then I look and I was like, wait a second, I'm 8th, and I believe that JD Brown had gotten a black flag somehow. So brought home 8th. Pretty excited about that. Also pretty excited for Kendall Tucker. He was on the podcast 2 weeks ago, I believe 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. And
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And he picked up his 2nd win of the season, 3rd of his career. So super excited for him. And just overall, I hope that finally getting a top 10, solid 8th place finish. Like I said, I don't have a shot at the relegation line. I'm just hoping to finish these last 3 weeks out on a good note, and I started that with an 8th place at Eldora. So I'm pretty content with that.
Yeah, that was definitely a good run for especially Eldora.
I love that track. I really just love Eldora so much. I know it gets top dominant. It seems like on every single build, it's been top dominant at a certain point, but I just love Eldora. It holds a special place in my heart. But I think we're about ready to bring in our special guest. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right,
As I'll ever be.
Let's bring him in. James, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right,
And
you got your camera on?
there. We working.
There he
There he
is.
is.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, James Edens.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Well, just another day.
This guy needs no introduction. You've been a pro for over 5 years. You've been in every pro series, as far as I could tell, on Dirt Oval. You've been in every single one of them. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. That is correct.
That's incredible, man. I mean, 2018. When did you start? iRacing. Was it 2018 or had you gotten on like immediately?
I started back in 2011. I
Wow.
started iRacing when it was just asphalt stuff, and then quit for a while around 2015, and came back when the dirt started.
So has dirt always been your passion? Like you just did dirt, you like dirt, and that's what brought you back?
Yeah, for sure. I was just doing a lot of real racing during that time. Before the dirt stuff came out, so we just kind of put it all on the side burner and focus on the real stuff.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. So when did you kind of realize that you were in like an upper echelon, so to speak, and you knew that you could try to compete at the pro level?
Pretty much right away. When we started, I mean, I ran R Factor for years with like CV and Bell and Briscoe, all those guys. We could compete with them, no problem. So when the dirt stuff started up, it was picked it back up, and we were racing with them pretty quickly. So I had a feeling we could compete.
Hell yeah. So more recently, Eldora, you're sitting 7th in the points, and you picked up a 5th place finish at Eldora, hard charger from 19th to 5th. I'm just curious. You got in through the LCQ. You were starting in the back. Did that change your game plan at all? Because it seemed like you saved and you were in the back for the whole thing, and then you made a charge to the front at the end. Did starting at the back kind of like make you think, okay, well, I'm already back here. I'm just gonna stay back here and save?
Yeah, for sure. That's I told the guys before the green even dropped. I said I'm not going more than half throttle for the first 25, and we'll just see what we can do the second half if we have tire left.
Yeah, you made a charge there at the end for sure. I kind of figured that was the plan. Whenever I went back and watched the replay, because I had methodically worked my way through while still trying to save the right rear, and then it seemed like there on one of them last restarts, you just kind of motored on by me on like a lane below me. I was like, this guy has way more tire left than me, man.
Yeah, we just hung out in the back. I figured we'd get some cautions there. Eldora normally brings out a few, so just kind of bid our time. And yeah, I think that one restart I went like 13th to 9th, just right around underneath everybody. And I had a feeling we had a pretty good car at that point. The car was actually really good down there compared to up top. So, even later in the race, I just stayed down there and picked them off.
Which is nice to do, and like very rare to see at Eldora running the bottom, because most of the time it's just either pound the fence or die.
Yeah, no, that was definitely that was probably one of the best Eldora races I've been a part of since 2018 when the cushion came out. But I think a lot of it had to do with just if you save that tire, you can move down and just drive by those guys late.
Right.
So.
And that's kind of like what I saw with testing too. Like just early on, no matter what, like the bottom was great, but once your tires kind of got too hurt, it was really hard to stay down there compared to the top.
Yeah, for sure. That seems like pretty much everything on this build has been that way. The bottom is good until 15 laps, get in the tires, and then got to get up top and just get the momentum rolling.
Yeah.
So 5 years of being a pro driver. And by the way, I agree with you. That was one of the better Pro Series Eldora races that I've, watched. I've watched all of them, or most of them at least, from the past Pro Series, and that one was definitely a really good one. But 5 years of being a pro driver, how do you find the motivation to still get on here and compete at the highest level?
I try to just avoid it as much as possible until the big races are coming up.
Wow.
When it first came out, the first like couple years, definitely raced, probably once or twice a day, 6 days a week, just putting in laps and races, and then the more you do that, the more you get burnt out. It's like, Do I really want to keep doing this? But if I just kind of put in the effort to just running a test session for 30 minutes a day and then showing up for World of Thunder on Sundays and the pro races Mondays, it keeps you going pretty good.
So that kind of leads me into my next question, and probably already answers it. That it sounds like you do about 30 minutes of practice a day, and is that generally it?
That's definitely on the high side. It's probably more like 30 minutes for maybe 2-3 days. Last week I was gone all week. I missed Williams Grove. I didn't get to touch the steering wheel until about 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So we just kind of went from there. And
what was that?
I feel
Keith?
like a lot of times whenever you come back, you're a little bit better whenever you've been gone, because you're like not burnt out on it, like you're ready to rip.
Yeah, you take a little break. Like, I was completely away from it. I couldn't touch it at all. So I feel it's a good refresher to come back and just run World of Thunder with pretty much I think 20 minutes of practice. And Monday I didn't turn a single lap until the server went up. That's why I qualified 29th.
Yeah, I feel that.
How much do you think the World of Thunder league, being that it does for those that don't know, World of Thunder runs Sunday night before each Pro Series race. They do the exact same track and usually pretty close to the same weather settings. Me and Kiefer don't run it. We have before, but so it's a good practice like the night before. So how much do you think that league helps you get practice in the night before?
Quite a bit, since I try to avoid running any officials during the week because those are just
Headaches.
Yeah, more trouble than they're worth. So yeah, it's you get to see a lot of the pro guys are in there, so you get to see what they're running, how they're doing, where they're running, stuff like that. Where you need to work on, come Monday afternoon to get ready for the the pro race.
Right. Which I feel like we need to do more of. It's just my IRL racing schedule. I racing actually this Sunday, so the leagues on Sundays just don't cut it for me. Nathan, on the other hand,
I mean, I'm free. I've ran Wotel before. It's just such a long show, and I hate really committing to too many nights a week that like I have to run. I've only really ran like 3 or 4 seasons of leagues, and it's just not really my thing. I kind of like officials personally, where like I can just hop on and run whenever I feel like it. And that's one of the things that I like that they did this season with the officials, leading up the week before you run the track that Pro Series is at Monday night. I like that.
Yeah, that was for sure good. Earlier in the season, with the new build, for sure, we definitely ran a few more of those officials just to, kind of see where we stacked up with, even the non-pro guys if we needed, major work or what. So that's always nice when they, kind of give us a little helping hand there, and can really fine tune stuff.
well, we're gonna have to do some more fine tuning if we do. We come out with a what? When does the update come out? Is it to the?
It's
tomorrow?
next week. I think next
Wednesday.
week.
Next week, yeah, next Wednesday it should be.
That should spice things up again.
Yeah, for sure. You never know what the
For a day.
For a day or two, yeah. Just depends how drastic they go.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, some of the changes they're talking about should help improve the racing quite a bit. So we'll just see what happens.
I'm just upset that I'm not on Beta Industries yet.
Oh, you gotta talk to Boss Man about that.
Yeah,
Who is Boss Man?
On Beta.
It's a group collective pretty much for this kind of deal. We split.
Yeah.
We kind of combined the two teams from whoever was left.
But you mentioned Boss Man, so you have someone in mind.
He's talking about. It's definitely Rumsey. Let's be real.
It gets the pressure off of me then if I say that.
Yeah, it's Rumsey. All right.
Oh
Wow.
gosh, no.
Rumsey ain't the boss man.
How's it
No
feel
way.
like being on the same team as the guy who sticks his tongue out the whole time? I feel like it's just kind of weird. I don't know. Does he do that like in a sprint car too? Has anybody ever?
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Can you imagine this dude just like tongue out in his nose while he's racing or something? Like I could see it.
I don't know what he's got going on there. He's definitely interesting to see, but just one of those things when you're concentrating that hard, you don't think about anything else.
Is he as awkward to work with as he is a race? Like whenever I see him on the stream, he's just always awkward. I feel like he'd like be an awkward person to work with.
We've been working with him for a couple years now, so he's definitely warmed up to us. I will say he's probably the most difficult person I've had to work with.
He's stubborn.
What? Yeah. What?
He's
Elaborate.
he's very stubborn. He doesn't want to listen to me half the time, so we have to kind of point him straight all the time. He keeps wanting to do the same stuff from last build, and then complain it doesn't work, and then the next day he's got the same thing back in the car, and I just kind of keep telling him.
It sounds like me. I'm terrible like that too, because I'm always like I'll find something that's great and dandy, and then the next week I'm like changing everything. I'm like, oh, this is the next thing. This is it. And then like 3 weeks later, I'll get back on the thing that I was originally on. I'm like, oh, it's fast again.
Focus was a good voice of reason to come in and help us with our super late model program at Apex.
Yeah, because I'm terrible. I'm like that. I need a mentor most of the time. I need to be babysat most of the time under adult supervision. It's it's rough out here.
James,
but
I wanted to bring something up. I told my wife that you were going to be the special guest, because my wife is actually pretty big supporter of everything revolved around iRacing that I tell her about. And whenever I told her that you were going to be the guest, she was like, isn't that guy that you were really pissed at last season in the Pro Series at Volusia? Do you remember that at all? I remember cussing you out over the voice chat.
Really? I don't remember that.
Well, maybe not cussing you
I'll be
out.
honest.
Dude, do you have like memory like you remember like memory like me, like that after the race is over, like I'll have people text me about the race and I'm like, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, most of the time I'm in, I forget it the second the checker drops. Most of the time it's because you just keep going. It's lap after lap. You just gotta brush it off and keep going.
What it was I'll refresh your memory.
Here we go.
I had finally gotten a good qualifying effort in last year. Same story as this year, for the record.
Well, Volusia was night 1, so
no,
continue.
it was
last night.
It was
week 9.
Yeah, last season it was week 9, and I was trying to make every feature there in the last couple to try to get to that relegation spot. So I had qualified decent enough to start the heat in the transfer spot. I started 4th. And then like lap 1 in turn 3 and 4, you came in there and doored me, James.
Wow.
Doored me up the track out of the transfer spot.
Did he make the race?
Might have happened.
Who made the race?
I didn't make the race. I'm sure James made the race. Probably finished top 3 too. I don't know.
There you go. There you go. It's just as easy as that.
It happens. I don't remember that one.
Hey,
it's fine.
Obviously, all you gotta say back to Nathan is just say stop wrecking St. Clair, because those mother effers wreck each other. No, they don't wreck it. They're always next to each other, dude.
Keep recalling we're
Nathan
giving me
just
shit.
hates him or something.
No, I don't. I don't hate him. I love St. Clair. We just end up. I mean,
always
just
hitting each other.
Rubbing doors.
I got me and Dylan Wilson end up like that a lot. I just kind of. Anytime we're near each other, it's never intentional or anything, but there's always that one guy out there you can't get away from.
Yeah,
I feel like that's been me with you, because we were in the same heat race. Every feature I've been in, I feel like I've either followed you for 30 laps. Well, at Knoxville, I followed you for 30 laps, and then there's been a few nights where I like heat race or feature, and I'm like, well, there's Edens. Oh, Edens behind me. Oh, he's in front of me, and I'm like, huh. I always say something because the purple in your car is like super shiny, and I'm like, dude, that's like it's like super shiny, like ridiculous.
Have you seen the new car, the all purple one?
I think that's one. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like super shiny, and I'm like impressed.
Why has that not been sent in? Why are they not showing that on the broadcast, James?
We'll send it in for the last 2 weeks here. We just wanted to make sure.
I think today's the last day. I think it's Wednesdays.
No, we got a week off though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You got a week off. Yep. So
we got a week off.
Does that mean we get a week off?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like off the podcast. Like, do I get a week off? Or
I mean, if you don't want to do it, we ain't got to do it.
Oh, it might be like an adventurous one because
I'm
I know.
thinking.
Here, I'll just say it on the stream. Here, I'm surprising my girlfriend for our anniversary on Wednesday next week. So maybe we'll do like a little podcast with the babe. You know,
That would be something.
she knows nothing about iRacing, so like it's gonna be great. That could be classy.
That
So
could be a good one.
Terry Radford, one of our broadcasters for the Pro Series, right, is in chat, and he had some questions for the three of us, I assume. Yes, for the three of us. So his first question is, let me see, actually.
Do you know how to
Yeah,
read?
yeah. So it's for the three of
Oh.
us. One of them's aimed for James. Part of it's aimed for James. So it's how important will it be for the three of you to have top 5 runs in the final 2 races to build momentum for next season's qualifying round? Most likely me, maybe Kiefer,
Wow.
or the Pro Series. Definitely James. So James, you can go first on this one.
Anytime you can get a top 5 and at the pro level is very good. I'd like to say you can carry it in the next season, but it's so far away, and there's 3 builds in between there, then and now. So who knows what they change, and you just gotta. I don't try to think too much into it of the future. Just show up and race.
That's easy for someone to say that's so consistently good. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, top 5, top 10, what's the difference? I mean, that's easy for you to say. Kiefer, what's your answer?
We got to perform. I've had I say I've had bad luck this season so far, which I feel like I've had. And I've also felt like I've put myself in probably 4 scenarios this season out of 8 races that I shouldn't have done. So I definitely need to just minimize mistakes. I know I can run up front. It's just a matter of me getting my foot out of my butt. But this weekend we're gonna prepare ourselves. We're gonna race all weekend, get a little bit of laps in. But Lincoln, I look forward to kind of going into there because it's different and it's special. And usually the tracks that are like goofy, besides Williams Grove, not a fan. Don't call me to race there. And then Charlotte, week 10, I feel good about. It's just gonna be a top 5 would be huge. Top 5 would tremendously help me, definitely. Eden's, yeah, it'll help them, but
as far as going into the next,
but it's going to the
either
next season.
qualifying or Pro Series, like how much does it help you with that momentum if you end the season with some top 5s?
I end the season with some top 5s. I'm gonna think that I'm top 5 till the end, to the beginning. No, that's not. It's gonna give you confidence that you can run up there again and just be able to compete, and that's kind of like how I feel right now. It's just I want to compete. I'm not there to win. I'm not there to grind all day, all week, but I'm there to compete. And as long as I can compete and have a little fun at it, that's all I care about.
Right. So my answer to it, I can speak personally from experience. Last year at the end of the season, like we just talked about, I didn't make the feature at Volusia in round 9. And my whole goal for Charlotte in the last round was to just to end the season on a high note, because I knew that I was not going to be locked in. I had to go through the qualifying series again, and I go out there and I qualify well. I run well in my heat, and I ran top 10, I think 7th for a long time in that feature, and I finished like 11th or 12th, but I ended the season on a very high note personally. And that really helped. That gave me a lot of confidence going into the, even though it was so far away, it gave me a lot of confidence going into the qualifiers. So yeah, a top 5 run. Well, for me, top 5 would be personal best finish, but 2 top 5 runs or 2 top 10 runs would definitely just give me a little bit more confidence that, personally, because of the doubts that sometimes I do have because of my lack of performance, that, if I got some top 10s, I'd feel again that I deserve to be there, and it would give me the confidence moving forward for next year's qualifier rounds that, I can still do it. So that's my answer to that. Terry also had another question. What made you fall in love with dirt racing? So I'll let Kiefer go first on this one. What made you fall in love with dirt racing?
Here, this is a great story, actually. So my love for dirt racing started at the age of 4 days old.
4 days.
My birth was actually my father made my mom wait 2 days because he was racing in the Have a Tampa series in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mind you, I live in Missouri, and he was racing full time professionally at the time, in a way, semi-professional, and made her wait and came back. I was born, and I've been around racing every weekend for the last I'm 23 years. So dirt tracks just I've always been around it. You'll see me there pretty much every weekend, all weekend driving or working on someone's car.
Or on here
It's different.
on iRacing.
And we're here on iRacing, so all week. My life revolves around dirt racing, 100%.
I think most of our answers are going to be similar. What's your answer, James?
It's pretty much the same story. My dad raced street stocks and late models, when I was growing up, and then I ran outlaw carts out here, here in California for forever, since I was 5 till I don't know 18 was the last time I ran, and then I actually moved to Illinois to run late models and modifieds out there, and then pretty much just every weekend I'm at a track. I missed last week at Williams Grove because I was helping some guys on the sprint car do a speed week up in Oregon.
Yeah.
So we're just always around it.
Yeah. And it's just
it's
a great
always-
environment. It's a great
Yeah.
environment.
It's
And
just
like
in our blood, man.
it's in our blood. And like I know we're kind of like dirt fans because like we're around it all the time. But like dirt racing's like the grassroots. Like that's like there's people there that you're not surprised he's at a dirt track. And then there's people there that you're like, why is he there? But I don't know. It's like a meeting of all the people and like everyone. There's people from every which way you can think about. There's idiots. There's smart people. There's engineers. There's scientists. Like there's so many different. It's so broad and so many different people. And like it's a family at the end of the day. And just how the racing is, and asphalt, pretty one lane. Dirt racing, you can throw slide jobs. I've never seen I've seen very few good slide jobs on asphalt.
Well, so my answer, pretty much the same as everyone else. Grew up around it. It seems like everyone that I remember from my childhood was in some way at a related to dirt tracking. My cousin raced modified here in Alabama with the IMCAs. He was actually Rookie of the Year for the IMCAs in 2000. My cousin's dad raced supers, still does race supers at Talladega Short Track. I mean, all of my dad's friends are from the dirt track. I mean, I was there's pictures of me as a kid like playing in the dirt in the
Making
pits.
mud pies.
Yeah, I was just the one that was always like, doing the car across the.
You just did the circle.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I was a child that hated having like dry, muddy hands. And like I'm also still a person where I hate when my hands are dirty. I'm not a germaphobe. I just hate when there's oil and grease and dirt on my hands because it drives me nuts. So like I was
the worst.
you know what I mean? Like I was just working on the race car. I changed the drive shafts and I got some of that grease on my hand. And immediately, as soon as that drive shaft was done, wash the hands, get that off.
So I was always around dirt racing. I raced a little bit as a kid. Kind of grew away from it, and then got back into it. I don't know, maybe whenever I was like 18, started going to the track again. And honestly, what really got me back into dirt racing heavy was iRacing. I had seen it, wanted to try it, tried it for the dirt racing, and fell back in love with all of it. So that's my answer to that. I had a couple more questions that I wanted to ask you, James. So what are your thoughts of on sprint cars on this new update? Have you even really raced them yet? Because this was a pretty significant update across all of dirt that we got, in June. And I've heard sprints are very different. You're a sprint car, Pro Series driver as well. So I want to know your thoughts on the sprint cars, if you have any.
They are very different. That's about all I got. I haven't really sat down and tested to try to be better. I think I ran 10 races and I show up to those with literally no practice and crank the thing and in the practice session complete 180 it on its complete 180 it on its head for qualifying and back again for the heat race and then throw something at it for the feature and not put too much effort into them yet. So but from what I've seen, and driven, they are very, very different. So we'll just have to, I'm just kind of waiting for the late model stuff to be done so I can, just sit down and focus on the sprint car stuff.
Do you think it takes more or less talent now on the sprint car?
Probably a little bit more. The car is definitely a little more darty.
Yeah, well, I'm out of the equation now, even more.
I wasn't gonna go for it before, but definitely I'm really not gonna go for it now.
The old build, I was decent in the mud. I could lay down a qualifying lap. But once it got slick, see you later, sister. I was terrible.
Yeah, they're definitely a little more darty now. You got to be, much more up on the wheel. So we'll just kind of, see if we can kind of tune that out of it. We'll see what they do with, this next update, how it reacts with the tracks. It'll just be interesting to see what happens.
So the next update, which we keep talking about, is coming on Wednesday. We were given the privilege to announce that one of the changes that is coming is that tire wear is going to be a little bit less of a factor, a little less aggressive, so to speak. We don't know how much yet, but we'll eventually, once the update comes out, we'll know. We've been discussing, us pro drivers have been discussing, or at least I've been discussing, and everybody that I talk to wants it, a 100-lap finale at Charlotte.
Yes.
Even
Please.
the
Kern
non-pro,
County, dude.
even the
Kern
non-pro
County
drivers
would be so sick.
Kern County.
So
The mini track
I,
would
That
be
would be
so
even better.
sick.
I'm gonna
Could you
create
imagine
a
the
poll.
Pure
carnage?
chaos. Pure chaos.
I'd
It's gonna
door
be
everybody.
enjoyable.
I'd be go karting. If you were close to my right front, you're sent. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I want to
It'd be
know.
laying on the track after that, though.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Kern too, by the way.
Yeah, the new track.
I'm
Just
not.
something new, honestly.
It's flat.
New,
kind of
new is
wider.
always nice, but it's one of those places, from the real stuff I've seen there, it's not. I don't think it's gonna race too good on the game. It's one. It's like when stuff translates. When they bring it into iRacing, it definitely
changes.
It changes, but iRacing also like exploits all the little things way more than real life stuff. So it's just kind of one of those things when you got something that's not,
like
that
the
great.
exit of 3 and 4 in Cedar Lake.
Yeah.
So-
just all the little things that you see in the real car.
Yeah.
That you kind of deal with, and it's it's not a big deal. When you get on iRacing, it's like
Or
we're
like
cutting
the
everything.
exit of 2 at Eldora is very similar, but it's more.
It's
And you
exaggerated.
can actually, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything
And
is
that's kind of like
exaggerated
what
on
you're
the
saying,
game.
and like I
Yeah.
agree because from personal experience of racing on the racetrack, it's different. It isn't, but it is.
So what I was
It's
getting
just
at,
like the flow of the racetracks are a little different too.
what I was getting at before y'all got off on this was, what would you want to see, James? Would you want to see a 100 lapper for the finale at Charlotte, or would you rather them keep it at 50? My personal vote is 100 lapper. I might not even make the damn show, but I think finale should be 100 laps personally. What do you think?
100 laps would be fun. Maybe just even 75.
75 arm pump on 100's aggressive.
Arm pump, man. What?
You got to turn up your force feedback.
No.
Yeah.
I got plenty. I drive one-handed most of the time.
Oh my God, I used to do that. I did that up until like week 4 of this Pro Series.
Yeah.
I was one-handing it, dude.
From the real stuff, I just, like my left hand is always done the majority of the work. My right hand just kind of floats. So when we get on here, we can do the same thing.
And you can turn down the force feedback a lot.
I'm a two-handed guy. 20 force feedback. It's
You got the-
max. Like
You got the death grip going the whole time.
no,
It
no,
looks like it.
so like on my like the wheel like
It's
you
not
get your
quite
T
like
there.
Blake Majulis,
I
where
put
Blake
my-
looks like he's like fucking
Blake.
death
I
gripping.
do it like
Yeah.
this, but I put my pinkies under like the wheel crevice, and
Under
then
the
and I
the
pull up
connector bar.
like I put yeah I put my pinkies under it. Why? I don't know.
Sounds like a great
but-
way to break your pinkies.
yeah. I hope you don't do that in the real car.
I don't because I do the real car with the Mercedes. It
straight
looks
up,
like
yeah.
it's a Mercedes sign. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how
Well,
I was
it's
doing
not
mine.
it's not straight up. It's got a little.
Yeah,
You got a clocker to the left or right.
just a little bit. About
So
one spline over.
so you don't vote for 100 lapper, you vote for 75.
Yeah, 75 or 100. Either way, just yeah, a longer race would definitely be nice.
I think
A
that
longer, and it would change a lot. Like, cause then you would like see tire wear. Like, if you like ran
If-
24th for 50 laps and then you just hammered it for 25, like you could potentially just murder everyone.
Yes.
But if it's
Just-
updated to be more realistic, or maybe not so much more realistic, but updated to where we're kind of on a harder tire, then I think 100 lapper could be really realistic and cool. I would love to see it. But so a couple more questions. Kendall Tucker used to be your teammate.
Yes.
Wow.
Long time, I believe.
Since 2019, yeah.
Yeah. So, what was that like, him leaving, and what? Try not to get too personal here, or too, if it's a sore subject. But what was it like with him leaving, and what's it like seeing him have the success? Because he talked very highly of you 2 weeks ago whenever he was on the podcast. And what is it? Are you just excited to see him, winning these two races and having the success still, or what's all that like for you?
Yeah, for sure. I still love Kendall. We got no beef over the whole deal. He made a business decision, and you got to respect that at the end of the day. So
Business is business.
yeah, it's good to see him win races still, and still be competitive. I was kind of not really a concern, but kind of a concern. If he was gonna be, on the same stuff as Evan, can he even compete with them?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. But yeah, we were teammates since 2019. Back in the Speed Lab deal, we picked all those guys up from 06. It was Kendall, Majulis, and Blake Cannon. That was when I had to requalify for the late models after the first year, and I was struggling a bit, and they were doing really good, and it was like, I need some help, so I'm gonna go find it. And with the Speed Lab deal, it kind of had a little pull, so they came on board. And we had a good year that year. Majulis won the championship. And it's just kind of been a thing, Majulis left in 2020, 2021, whatever it was.
2021.
Yeah, and now Kendall's back with Blake. They were always really tight, so I kind of expected it. Kendall wants to just kind of get on and run races, and have setups where we're more of the race is coming up. We might build one the day before, kind of a deal. If it's good, it's good. If not, if it's not Pro Series, we don't really care about it.
Yeah.
So from his perspective, it was a better move. Evan and Blake are building setups every week. Where we were kind of not. Especially with the last build, we weren't doing anything.
Yeah. No, you guys were kind of like, you're probably gonna be. I'm probably gonna be like the second version of what you guys did, and just like kind of go silent. And
Yeah.
Just kind of get away for a little bit. Not that iRacing's like terrible, but just to get away.
No, yeah, we just kind of put it on the back burner. The cars weren't great. The racing wasn't great. You can't just keep running laps to run laps, and
Yeah, you kind of like.
I can.
But
But that's just because this is all I
Hey.
got, man. This is all I
Yeah.
got. I don't got any other.
Me and Nathan can make 50 laps side by side, and I'll wreck them on the 50th lap every time. And I'll take that any day
And
of the
I'll
week. But
enjoy it the whole way. I know it's
I've-
coming, and I still have fun just making laps personally.
I feel like me and whenever like the practice, like we need to like host one of our practice servers one day and just line up with a bunch of guys and race just like as hard as you possibly can, but just don't touch each other. And it's fun. Because like I drive the balls off the cars in practice against Nathan just so I can like stomp him every time.
No stomping, bro. Shut up.
Oh,
Shut
here we
up.
go. Here we go.
Look, for
In
the
practice,
record,
I'm a demon, dude. In
for the
practice,
record,
I am a demon.
for the
But
record,
after that, in race, no.
for the record, whenever we tested at Eldora last week, we had multiple 50 lap runs, and Kiefer would always jump out to a decent sizable lead, and then I'd catch
I
up.
would check
He'd
out,
check
and then
out. I'd catch up.
he'd
Oh
hit the
boy.
wall, and then his right front would come off, and then we'd have a
Oh, yeah.
competitive caution with 10 to go.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's when we had like testing for the sprint cars, like last year when we had 8-10 guys, full heat race worth of guys, we always tried to do that, line it up for a heat race, and half the time we didn't make it through turn one.
yeah, no, that's usually how it goes.
Somebody was upside down or whatever.
I feel like half
Just
the time Nathan doesn't even make it to the checkered, like the line. He doesn't even make it to the line.
When we had Logan was always a big issue on the starts because we were trying to work with him to get better. He was struggling, and him just being asleep on the front row would cause so many pileups because everyone's going and he was not. It's like we got to work on this. We put him on the front row every time. Just like you got to get better.
Yeah.
You got to, but it's
See,
just
I
one
like
of those things.
I like starting in the back in the practice session. That way, when everyone goes into 1 and 2, because in the practice session, you don't really care. So you're gonna drive the absolute crap out of it, and then they all overdrive turn 1, and I sit in fourth, and I roll on the bottom, and then I'm there battling for the lead right away, and it's always great.
So I
Yeah,
have
they're
one.
fun.
So I have one last question for you, James. You've been around for so long, 2018 Pro Series and onward, all the Pro Series, multiple Pro Series wins across all of them. You've been in it so long. Do you think that the competition has gotten easier or harder?
So I think I had this discussion the other day with somebody. I think at the very top level, it's gotten harder. And then it seems like the mid level has kind of dropped off a little bit more. It seems like the gap has split more.
Yes, where now it's like the top guys, and then the other half.
Yeah. Yes. So it seems like it's kind of gone that way. Like your tier 1 drivers are definitely, there's a lot more of them. They're a lot better. And then even like the tier 2 drivers, there's a lot more of them. But they're definitely, you can tell they're just a step below.
Yeah.
Where like the first couple of years, man, you didn't know what to expect. There was guys making the Pro Series that never ran a race with, and they get in there and they fucking beat you by 5 spots, and it's like, who the fuck's this guy? What's going on here? So just stuff like that. When it was new, it was definitely a lot more. It was a lot more open, I will say.
And spread out, yeah. And now the competitive side, so competitive, it's not even funny.
Yeah, so it's just like one of those things. I mean, with Evan and Blake, they're so good. Where 2019 when they were running, they weren't winning every race. That was for sure. They were still up front, but now they're just so much better, and it's like, even I feel
they've
like
been around long enough, they know.
Yeah. So it's just like one of those things. I think like the top 10 guys are definitely a lot better than what they were in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And kind of separated themselves a lot more. And then the rest of the field is hit or miss. Who's going to be good where. A lot of it seems track dependent. Who does good, who doesn't do good. So it makes it fun, to see guys, that may have struggled all year, come out. We go to Lincoln next week. Who knows what the hell that's going to bring?
I think
That's
that one's
what
going to
I
be
was
a
saying.
big toss up.
Lincoln's like that. Eldora's always like that too. Guys that struggle elsewhere come to Eldora and they're fucking lights out. It's like, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I was definitely that way. I just love Eldora so much. I think it's just such a popular track, and it's a track that's very, very easy to turn a lot of laps at. So I think that's one of them.
Lanier was like that. Unfortunately, we don't run that for Pro Series, but that was always the place. It was like
so easy.
You get in there and who the hell are these guys? They're faster than me. I'm I beat him by 5 seconds last
Hey,
week.
Lanier is like one of the first official
Yes.
races I ever won in the late model series on iRacing. I
Yeah.
beat
Yeah, so-
Richard Murtaugh, and then the next race I lost to Jaeger when Jaeger was on Rocket. So that's been a while. And
That's a long time.
me and Jaeger battled like, but at Lanier, and I was like, dude, I'm a tough dude. Like, and then we went into like, I forget where we went like next week, and I was terrible, and I sucked, and I was like, Lanier's my new favorite track. Now I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it with like my whole passion.
Well,
I still feel like that in the late model. You know,
In the late model, yeah.
Limaland, thank God it's not on the schedule because I would
Oh
make the
yeah.
feature. I don't think I've made a pro race there once in the late model.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I'm not a Limaland fan.
me either.
I don't know why. Like Fairbury, I seem to do okay, but Limaland, about it. I might as well not even race.
I hate running the wall there. Like it's very awkward.
It's very awkward, very technical. Yeah, it's just
You gotta back it in 3 and 4, jump the
Yeah.
cushion so you can get more speed on the exit. It's
Yeah.
goofy.
but get it pointed right so you don't right front it into the wall. All kind. Yeah.
Yeah, Limaland is not my friend. Now, in like a wheelie setup in a big block we were doing last build, Limaland's sick, dude. I'm
Those
telling
were.
you, I'm a Limaland hater till I die. But with the wheelie set on a big block at Limaland, we were like 4 wide, and I'm on the tires just digging. And this other guy, it was great. It was the most fun
Yeah.
I've ever had at Limaland. But every other race I've ever raced there, hated my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't have any other questions for you, James. Do you have anything, Keith?
Not today. Tomorrow.
Not today.
Tomorrow.
Well, James, thank you so much for coming and talking to us, man. Congratulations on your 4th place run at Eldora. And good luck 2 weeks from now at Lincoln.
Yeah, we're gonna need it. Thanks for having me, boys. It was fun.
Yep.
Absolutely,
Take
James.
it easy, buddy.
Later, man. Well, that was James Edens. Another great conversation.
Chat, is this real?
Chad, is this real? This was another great episode. We got
It is.
Lincoln 2 weeks from now. Don't forget, we got next week off.
I forgot.
We'll figure out something to do next week most likely, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, I mean, that's all I got. You got anything else?
I got this dart
There it is, right there.
right here. Another one. I got a red one.
Win, says Hannah. Of course.
All right.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you guys so much. And that'll be it for this episode. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye.